Well, everyone, we're into Module 1, off and running, okay? So welcome to the class, and as we get into this introduction of art, let me give you a few things as we get this first module, some things to look for, because you're going to cover a lot already, okay? But one of the things is, we want to establish what art is in dealing with art, right? And, the fill-in-the-blank question, art is blank. Today, that sentence is finished with things like expression, okay? And that is certainly true. But one caveat as you go through this course, notice that the expression of the artist is something that comes along quite recently in the modern world, only about 140 years ago. So most of the stuff you're going to see is, in fact, an expression, but it's expression of something other than the artist feeling. So what would it be? Well, you'll see that it's expression of culture, ideas, hopes, dreams, of a culture, of a religion, that sort of thing, okay? So art is communication, for sure, and art does express things. I don't think that's in doubt, but it's only recently that it expresses feelings of the artist, okay? So one of the things to watch for as we go through, and again, you're going to come across different techniques and styles, and one of the things I'm hoping to do, a couple of things that I'm hoping to achieve with this class. One is, I want us to understand the works of art for what they meant to the culture that produced them. Okay? We all have our own theories. We can analyze and assess based on our own experience, and that's a very modern take on art. It's more association, if you will, than interpretation. But what I'm hoping to do is take us back, to the extent possible, to have us understand, literally to stand under someone else's experience, maybe the experience of the artist, maybe the experience of the culture, so that we look at the meta-narrative, we look at all that was going on, and then we say, now I know why that art looks the way that it does. Or, right, or we look at the work of art, and we know enough about the meta-narrative that we can say, that looks like something that came from such and such period, okay? So understanding the culture helps understand the art, okay? Looking at the art helps understand the culture, okay? So that's one of the things we hope to do. The meta-narrative approach and understanding art for what it meant to the culture that produced it, okay? The other thing that I want you to think about as we go through is, if art communicates something, if it expresses something, the question is, how does it do it? Okay? Now we could get all philosophical, and they're, Immanuel Kant and Hegel and Plato, and everyone's dealt with this in some way, okay? But I think an approach that is a little bit more accessible to us would be to think of storytelling. Think of narrative, okay? Narrative is when we place together, right, different scenes, if you will, different aspects of a tale, and so the listener, the reader, the viewer, right, follows along, okay? So watch for that aspect in art. Watch for that aspect in art as you go through. Think of it as storytelling. The artist intentionally created the thing that you're looking at, okay, to say something, right? And very often, it's not just a simple statement. It's not like a stop sign. A stop sign has visual elements, right? It has lines and shapes and color and mass, right? And we can identify it as an object. But is it art? Stop sign means stop. None of us see it as a narrative. None of us, I don't think, we come up to a stop sign, at every stop sign we stop and we read it, we think about it, we analyze, and we follow the story, and then we understand what it means, right? It wouldn't work, right? That's just straight symbol, and it's a learned behavior that, if we know what it means, we know what to do when we see it. That's not the same thing as narrative. Narrative is when artists give you things to look at, to lead your eye, to pull you along so that you follow what they're trying to do. That's the idea behind narrative. So narrative is the word to enter for this video, to get credit for this video. And I think it's just a good way to get into understanding art, is to think about it as someone trying to tell you a story. You follow along, you get into it, you get to know the characters, maybe the artist, right? And then something is revealed to you. And just like storytelling, often the story is not just about the characters. The story is not just about where they live, what they did. The story is about what happens to them, what they learn, how their lives are changed, okay? And it's the same way with art, okay? So watch as you get through this first section. Again, you're going to cover a lot of ground, lots of things, but watch and ask yourself as you go through, what is this culture trying to say? What's the story they're trying to tell about themselves, okay? So I think that's a good way to start. Narrative is your word, Narrative. Just enter that. You'll get credit for this. Go through the PowerPoints this first module. You know, stay on top of it. But any questions, email me. Otherwise, let's get started on this journey, this introduction to art. Thank you.